Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. In the days of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, of the priestly division of Abijah. His wife was from the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. Both were righteous in the eyes of God, observing all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blamelessly. But they had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and both were advanced in years. Once when he was serving as priest in his division's turn before God, according to the practice of the priestly service, he was chosen by lot to enter the sanctuary of the Lord to burn incense. Then when the whole assembly of the people was praying outside, at the hour of the incense offering, the angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right of the altar of incense. Zechariah was troubled by what he saw, and fear came upon him. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, because your prayer has been heard. Your wife, Elizabeth, will bear you a son, and you shall name him John. And you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He will drink neither wine nor strong drink. He will be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. And he will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God. He will go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers toward children, and the disobedient to the understanding of the righteous, to prepare a people fit for the Lord." Then Zechariah said to the angel, "How shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is advanced in years." And the angel said to him in reply, "I am Gabriel, who stand before God. I was sent to speak to you and to announce to you this good news. But now you will be speechless and unable to talk until the day these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled at their proper time." Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah and were amazed that he stayed so long in the sanctuary. But when he came out, he was unable to speak to them, and they realized that he had seen a vision in the sanctuary. He was gesturing to them, but remained mute. Then, when his days of ministry were completed, he went home. After this time, his wife Elizabeth conceived, and she went into seclusion for 5 months, saying, "So has the Lord done for me, at a time when he has seen fit to take away my disgrace before others." The Gospel of the Lord.
It's easy to confuse what Zechariah said concerning the birth of John the Baptist as opposed to how Mary replied. The answers sound similar, but they're really not. Mary says to the angel, "How can this be?" In other words, how is this going to take place? What's going to happen? She answered with trust in what God was saying. On the other hand, Zechariah says, "How shall I know this?" In other words, I don't believe what you're saying. So he's having a crisis of faith. I can't blame him because he's 50s plus and he's going to be having a teenager in about 10 years. And how is he going to deal with that at his old age? Some of you who are parents here understand that. However, he's stricken to be mute. And sometimes, so he's revealing something that happens to us eventually when we are encountering what seems to be God's plan for us. Sometimes we just have to sit and wait in silence and wait for his answer. Wait for that answer, even if it takes 9 months. And this is what Zechariah had to do. He had to wait and be silent and let God talk to him in the silence. And so, waiting in the silence to speak to God, this is a great form of prayer, to just be attentive and listen. Listen to what he has to say. I was reminded this morning as I was reading this of about a time when I was probably around 19 years old, and I was really angry at God for something. I don't even remember what it was by this time. And so I was driving in my car, and I was yelling at God. I was really upset. So anyways, as I'm going along, then I just said to myself, I'm going to be quiet here. And I was just driving in the silence. And all of a sudden, the thought came into my mind, which is, sometimes God says stuff to us without talking. What I heard mentally was, so we're speaking again? What I got out of that was, I was waiting for an answer for something and it wasn't coming. So I stopped talking to him and I stopped asking. And so finally he steps in and he says, I've got your answer for you. Sometimes we have to wait for the answer from heaven. Let us stand in prayer.
Regina Celi, letare